Hello, and welcome to another battle report. So this is number 25, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it's 25. If not, it'll say otherwise on the screen. And this is round 2 of the English Championship, so we're going to try and get through these quickly, as I mentioned in a previous video. Can't remember which one. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Anyway, so I've got my Kingdom of Equitain, and in round 2 I've been drawn against Empire of Sonstal, which is fun because I don't generally get to play against them, and so it's nice to play against something different. Let's take a look at the lists and decide whether or not I'm going to be happy about playing against Empire at the end of the game, shall we? So first of all, my list. You can have a pause and have a look, or watch the previous battle report, or it'll be in the comments below. And then my opponent's list. So, as I've said, he's playing Empire of Sonstal. First of all, he's got a pair of Inquisitors. The first one has a horse with light troops. He's got a Dusk-Forged shield for rerolling his armor saves, a repeater pistol, a hand weapon enchanted with the Hammer of Witches, and Blessed Steel. So he's got comes with multiple wounds D3 anyway. The Hammer of Witches gives him 5 attacks, and I think he must have like a 1-up rerollable armor save. And the Blessed Steel gives him +1 strength and AP as well. Maybe that's where the lethal strike is from. I don't know. It's the combat version of the Inquisitor, the one that you normally see, or the cowboy version. Then next up, he's got another Inquisitor with another horse and light troops, paired weapons and Kingslayer, another repeater pistol, Basalt Infusion, and again Blessed Steel. So again, strength 5, AP2, multiple wounds, D3. A very good armor save. Very killy in combat if characters go into it. Not very nice. Then a wizard who's a wizard master of cosmology, a prelate on a horse with a great weapon, plate armor, and a locket of Sunna. His general is a knight commander who's very, very, very bare bones. I mean, under 200 points for a general. You get more bonus for killing him, which is just crazy. Bloody Empire and their weird characters. So he's a general, he's got a horse, a lance, and a shield, and that's it. I think he's got less equipment than some of my, he's worse armoured than, worse protected than some of my my Grail Knights, for example. Then he's got another weird character. He's got a Marshal, Battle Standard Bearer with a shield and Willow's Ward. In core, a unit of 10 Electoral Cavalry with shields upgraded to knightly orders, so they've got cavalry picks, full command, and the Household Standard. So that's the extra 6 inches of commanding presence if your general is in the unit. So, what's that? 5 characters on horse? 4 characters on horse. And a big bus of electoral cav. So it's one of those lists. You know them, you love them. Then 18 light infantry with crossbows and musicians, a horde of state militia, a support unit of 20 halberd wielding heavy infantry with a musician, 22 Imperial Guard with great weapons, musician and champion, 3 lots of Reiters. The first lot is 8 Reiters with repeater guns and heavy armor. The second lot has there's 6 of them with a brace of pistols, heavy armor, champion with a repeater pistol, and the final unit is just 5 guys with brace of pistols, and of course the obligatory steam tank, which is all very good fun to play against. We love playing against the steam tank. A joy to play against. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual game. So for this round we were playing Spoils of War and Dawn Assault. So I had the bottom left hand corner and he had the top right, and then of course the 3 spoils across the middle there. My deployment on the very far left that you can't see out here is a unit of 6 Realm Knights. Then I've got my General who's worried about the Great Cannon on the Steam Tank, another Scorpion, my 11 Knights of the Realm with Banner of the Last Charge with my my Damsel, my Druidism Damsel, 5 Yeomen, 6 Knights of the Realm, the other Scorpion, my 8 Knights of the Grail with the Grail BSB and the Shamanism Monk. The Green Knight, of course, is coming on later. And I think the other unit of Yeomen is over here. Then on his side, 24 State Militia, the Imperial Guard, light infantry with crossbows, the Reiters with repeater guns, the big knightly orders cav bus, and then this is a little bit into his vanguard, so the Writers with repeater pistols have moved up, and of course the steam tank, and the halberdiers on the far right. Terrain-wise, we've got a hill in this corner, a forest, another forest, a field, another field, a hill, and a piece of impassable. So, unsurprisingly, Empire take turn 1. Oh, first of all, this was a gorgeous army. It's come up a lot more shiny in the photos. Just taking quick snaps leaning across the table before we get started, so not particularly inspiring photography, but it should give you an idea of what it looked like. I don't know the appropriate names for the mounts, but there's a pair of the lion dog-esque mounts for his characters, and one of the Inquisitors is riding a flying fish, I think. So very, very cool, really gorgeous army. And even the steam tank is, like, you know, dolled up to look appropriate, which is nice. So at the very least, if we're playing against a steam tank, at least it's a pretty steam tank, right? So into his turn 1. So he's moved up. Well, he vanguarded up with the last unit of Writers just here. The other 2 units used their first turn move. One is basically chaff in the way of the Knights of the Grail. Shush! No, fuck off! Bingley's on my lap. Go away. One unit of Writers has moved up as chaff. The other has got into my flank of the Grail Knights. The steam tank is hiding from the Scorpions because, you know, I could put a big dent in it. I could potentially kill it with the Scorpions if they rolled well enough. The Cav bus is 12.1 inches away, as you would expect from the chaff here, which is perfectly fine. They've got cavalry picks, as I said, so I'm not too worried about them on the charge. They're not, you know, it's not good. It's not a unit that I particularly want to fight, but I think potentially with the Grails with enough magic support would be able to take them. Just a little bit of shuffling out on the flanks. These guys with the State Militia with the light troopers have moved off to the left to handle the guys going for the scoring objective here, and the halberdiers are moving up to take this token. In shooting, I think the repeater guns fired at the Knights of the Realm here, and I rolled really well with my saves, or he rolled really badly, or a combination of the two. So I only lose 1 guy, take no panic. But the crossbows there with accurate just blasted. Oh, maybe the crossbows shot these guys. Yeah, I think the repeater guns blew away the Yeoman Outriders, didn't cause any panic because they're insignificant, and then the crossbows took off one of the Knights of the Realm. On this flank, the State Militia fire loose their bows and kill a Yeoman. And we go to Equitan turn 1. So I figure there's not an awful lot out on this flank. It's the Cav bus and the steam tank that I'm actually worried about. I mean, even the Imperial Guard, they've got bodyguard, but I proved last game if you kill the character, you can deal with the bodyguard unit. So I move up very aggressively with the Knights of the Realm and go and sit on the objective. I'm relying on my armour even against their pistols to keep them safe, so I can pick that up and then just bugger off. The Hippogriff isn't worried about the cannon while the cannon's on the other side of the hill, so I push up very aggressively with him. I move across my chaff to use in the centre here, and I've marked the absolute maximum that those Imperial Guard can charge out to the last charge bus, so I'm nice and safe here. Or am I? The Grail Knights charge into the Writers here. I drop the Green Knight nice and early. He's got lots of shooting, but Empire are a good army for subjecting to terror, so I drop the Green Knight nice and early, try and cover all my angles depending on where he can get to with the Writers. And I think the rest of my turn goes rather smoothly. I don't get an awful lot of magic off. I might get... I think I get Awaken the Beast for extra toughness here, and another spell. It might have been Stone Skin, it might have been Brought of Battle, I don't remember. Oh, and I get something off here as well. So that's Oaken Throne, I think. I can't see what that is because of the glare, and that's Awaken the Beast. Oh, maybe it's just Awaken the Beast and Scarification then. So yeah, I don't think I had a particularly mind-blowing magic phase. But I do delete the Writers as expected. And we go to Empire turn 2. So I think I forgot to mention that while he was up there on the hill, he cast Truth of Time on the cavalry up on the hill here. I was very much okay. I mean, you can't use it for anything, so that was fine. So I let him get off, and I stopped other spells. And then in my move, in my turn 1, I moved up very aggressively with the Knights of the Last Charge, and didn't measure it properly. So this was an 11. So off of a hill with Swift Stride and Truth of Time, he's rolling 5 dice and taking the top 2, and then he gets a reroll because he's on a hill. So I think he didn't even need the reroll. I think that's a very good chance that he'd roll that successfully, which is a massive shame. And just, I mean, it's careless on my part, right? I should be double checking that. Should be checking the angles, and I mean, it's an 11, so I only needed to be backed up a little bit more, and I'd be out of range for him. The rest of his moves, his shooting just doesn't do an awful lot. The Imperial Guards stay where they are because they don't need to go anywhere. The State Militia reform and then move up so that they're all within 8, so they can fire their pistols at the Knights of the Realm. The Heavy Infantry come over the hill, again towards the objective. The tanks come over the hill, and the Riders are doing more chaff. I think they've moved around from here, around to the front, so they can block off this unit from moving off too quickly to the left, because I could just leave the steam tank high and dry otherwise. We check angles here. I think this is during his magic. He might get Perception of Strength off because I was saving for something else. I don't remember what the something else was. Oh, I wasn't worried about Perception of Strength because it changes my... I go from a 5-up armor, 6-up Aegis to a 6-up armor, 5+ Aegis with Perception of Strength, so I figured that's not too much to worry about. But I didn't take the characters into account. Of course, that makes it much worse for the characters hitting me, and of course that front rank is basically entirely characters. So another little bit of an oopsie that's not going to make that much better. In shooting, it looks as though he's killed another one from the pistols there, so I got very lucky with that. Oh, these repeater guns opened up on the Knights of the Realm here, though, and killed them down to just the champion. And then post-combat, so this is my turn 2 now, I think. Yeah, my turn 2, so he's completely... He didn't even need to run me down or force me to break, he wipes me out to the man, including the Damsel. So there goes all of my magic, essentially. I've got 1 spell left here. I've lost 1,100 points and scoring, and there's a steam tank that I can't deal with, and a cavalry bus that I can't turn around and charge, so the game is over already. Well, I think that's that's incredibly defeatist of me. It's a very, very difficult spot to be in now, right? I haven't got any magic to regrow my stuff. I've lost one of my scoring blocks. I'm having to chaff the steam tank, which isn't very effective because of how the steam tank works. Yeah, so it's just not a good spot to be in, and it's extra annoying that it's just because of careless play that I, gave him an 11-inch charge to, and then let Perception of Strength go off. I could have potentially saved a couple of guys, and then I'd be stuck in combat, and then I'd bring the Hippogriff into the flank, and then I could start dueling out characters maybe, bring the Green Knight in as well. So just a couple of mistakes, and then to put me in such a bad position so early on in the game, especially as we were, I think, 2 hours through the time at this point as well. It was very slow going with all the shooting and the light troops. So by the end of my turn 2, I've charged into the State Militia here. I killed enough to break them because they're light troops and they don't have any ranks. I had 3 guys left. I had the objective at that point because I picked it up at the beginning of the turn. I chased after them and then lost 2 guys in the forest, failed my panic, and then ran away. So I then dropped the token, which was wonderful. So that takes us to Empire turn 3. There they are running away from the forest that killed 2 of their buddies. There's a nicer picture of the centre with my Hippogriff looking in. I've moved my yeoman up to chaff them from at least not getting a charge into the flank of these guys just yet. There's my Green Knight who's moved up a little bit further. So this is after Empire turn 3. He's charged the Imperial Guard into the Yeoman, killed them, and then reformed this way. The unit of 8 Riders with repeater guns have lined up against the Grail Knights to chaff them and chaff the BSB from getting at the steam tank. So potentially on the charge, I could. Well, that if I'm going to kill it, it's going to be on the charge. So he's stopping me from doing that. Moved the halberdiers onto the token here and reformed the cavalry bus to be facing towards all of my stuff that's important and left. And that takes us to Kingdom of Equitain turn 3. Yeah, another photo of this on this flank, a little bit blurry. Okay, so after Kingdom of Equitain turn 3, I charge and kill the Reiters and then overrun. I didn't quite have an overrun because of how he'd very sensibly placed his chaff so that I didn't get an overrun into either the steam tank or out of arc of sight of these guys, and I didn't get an overrun into the support infantry either. Everywhere else I moved the Green Knight and Hippogriff out of line of sight of the cavalry bus. Those 2 Realm Knights do rally. And between the Scorpions, I've killed a couple of the cavalry and the cav bus. If I can kill enough of the Knights, then I can start potentially picking out the characters with the Scorpions. That's what I was thinking there, rather than trying to take pot shots at the steam tank. The steam tank and the halberdiers have charged into the flank of the Grail Knights and my BSB. The State Militia, with their pistols, my luck runs out against his gunpowder and I lose my last 2 knights on this flank. Between the bolt throwers here, I kill another 3 knights, so there's still 5 left, I think, in the unit there. Enough to protect the characters still. The Hippogriff moves up to threaten his Wizard and BSB bunker. Sits on the wall, so he's got distracting and cover from the wall. Although he's towering presence, so he might not get that, I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up, but it doesn't matter because he moved instead of shot me. In combat, unsurprisingly, the steam tank between the impact hits and then lots of halberdier attacks in the flank between all the static combat res and the kills that he did. He broke me. I managed to escape the halberdiers though, and I don't run into the Imperial Guard, which is good. On his turn though, he just charges me with the halberdiers, with the Imperial Guard. I flee through the halberdiers, take a couple of dangerous terrain checks, and then they can charge straight forward, do a 90-degree wheel, and then hit the Grail Knights and wipe them that way. With the march order, the crossbows had just enough move to move out of the way of the Hippogriff. Of course, the Imperial Guard have run away, so the Hippogriff is left high and dry over there on the wall. One of the Inquisitors charges out into the Scorpion and kills it, and the rest of the cav bus turns to face the Green Knight, who's taken a wound from the pistols. And then on my turn, I charge the Green Knight in and hope to kill a character, which I failed to do so. I should have just looked after his points, but I figured I went for a big play here. I think I went in to try and kill the rank and file, actually. If I kill enough of the rank and file, then he loses the objective there. And if I can catch one of the scoring unit with my Hippogriff over there, then I can stop him from scoring the objective, and it'll go to a 14-6 instead of a 20-0. Well, but instead of an 18-2 or so, because I'd protected enough points. But I went for a bigger play instead, which was silly, really. But I went for it. The Green Knight goes in, fails to do anything, and then is killed by the characters with the Kingslayers and Hammer of Witches and so on and so forth. And that's the last photo. So the Hippogriff survives. One of the other Scorpion is killed on turn 6 for the Empire. The character charges out and kills it. And I think besides the Hippogriff, that's everything of mine dead, and he scored the objective, which takes us to the final score, which unsurprisingly is a 20-0. Yeah, the first couple of turns being taking as long as they did was frustrating, and led to a couple of mistakes there with the Perception of Strength and the 11-inch charge. And then from that point, I was I just made mistakes where I could have really doubled down and tried to save my points with my characters and so on. But instead, I went for a slightly bigger play, which was just daft, really. And I could have saved myself from getting 20'd. But besides that, it was a good game. And yeah, we'll move on to the next one. There's not an awful lot to take from it besides that. But yeah, good game, and it was a very pretty army to play against. Hopefully I get to play... Well, lightning can't strike twice, right? I can't play another of the 4 steam tanks at the tournament. It was a big tournament. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.